this call.
I'm starting it.
We're getting started. We wanted to wait until we were actually having content so that we could share this recording with other case managers who were unable to join us today. So I'm going to close my chat. We'd still love if you have not indicated your name and agency in the chat, please do so. We love knowing who's with us today. And so after we demo the application, we're going to go into a question and answer session. You know, there are case managers on this call who have worked with the Love Fund for years and years. And there are case managers on this call who have never submitted an application to the Love Fund. So we have a wide variety of, you know, people resources and agency resources. So at the end, I think we have an opportunity to really share with each other. So I want to take advantage of that. And then at the very, very end, if you are really wanting to dig into detail, I was going to allow whoever wanted to drop off. But if anybody needed help filling out a clothing wish list, I would do that at the very, very end, because I know we've had some people have some detailed questions about that, and I would love to be able to do that with you at the end. So, okay. If you have questions as we go, like I said, utilize the chat, or under reactions, just do the raise hand feature. Okay, so I'll just get us going here. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. If not, Amanda, holler at me. So the Love Fund, just last year, we celebrated our 40th anniversary. So we were founded by Fox 4 41 years ago. And we do office out of the station at Southwest Traffic Way and 31st Street. So when you order items, then that is where you will pick them up. That's where our office is. It's very exciting last year. Okay. Well, I'm trying to advance. Give me just a second. Okay. There. Oh, what happened? Okay. Apologies. So this is about us. So Fox 4 Love Fund, it was established to improve the quality of life. We serve children 0 to 18 years in the greater Kansas City area. We are a safety net organization that assists with many things, and we'll kind of dig into that in a bit. But when children in Kansas City cannot find funding from other sources, this is where the Love Fund steps in to meet those unmet needs. Our goal and vision is to build a stronger Kansas City community in which every child lives without need. And then our mission, we bridge the gap in youth services by partnering with youth advocates like you to fulfill the unmet needs across Kansas City. So in order to refer a child to the Love Fund, we do only accept applications from professional youth advocates. Parents cannot self-submit. They will have to work through a case manager, a therapist, a medical professional, a school administrator or teacher can also submit referrals, but it does need to be someone who is working with the family and child in a professional capacity. Okay. Who are we? Well, today you get to see Amanda and I. Amanda Jackson is our executive director. Amanda, just stop me if you wanted to introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Amanda. I've been with the Love Fund approaching my 1-year anniversary, but I have been here in the Kansas City nonprofit sector for over 14 years. I've worked at Cornerstones of Care, Child Abuse Prevention Association, Sam Rogers Health Center, March of Dimes, and here. So really have an appreciation for the work that you all are doing. I at one time was a youth advocate, helping families and children receive support from the Love Fund. So to be on the other side is really exciting. We have experienced a lot of growth the last few years. In fact, I just want to put down this stat that our program reach, the number of kids that we have served, has grown 336% from 2018. As you all are familiar, the need has increased in light of the pandemic and just the ongoing issues that we're having with the social determinants of health and all of the things, right? So the Love Fund is very excited that we have you all as partners and doing this important work and supporting families.
Mhm. Wonderful. And then on the right there, you have me, Lee Marie Suon, your program coordinator. I have been at the Love Fund I started in January 2020, right before things got really crazy. I had about 8 weeks of normal work. So I am the person that you would work with when you fill out an application, and then I work with you on fulfilling the needs of the children that you have referred. So I'm kind of the one who's in the details and would be helping you through that application process. I've done a little bit of everything, but my nonprofit experience comes from the Dermatology Foundation, which was when we lived in Chicago. And then we have Veronica Champion, who is at this point our veteran. She's been with the Love Fund, I think, almost five years. And she is our development manager. I think many of you who have been around a long time would be very familiar with Veronica. Before there was a program coordinator, she did all of the development and the program management, which is a lot. So we are a small team, but we are mighty. So I'm part-time, and the other two, Amanda and Veronica, work full-time. Okay. Okay, who do we serve? We serve I think it's 38 counties in the Fox 4 viewership area. So all the counties in red on this map are the counties that are served by the Love Fund. So if you have a child that is outside of these counties, unfortunately, we are not able to fulfill those needs, but we have a pretty wide service area for Kansas City Metro. And then on the right, it just indicates the counties in both Missouri and Kansas that we most frequently serve. So Jackson and Clay, and then Wyandotte and Johnson. Okay, don't hesitate to let us know if you have questions. Okay, so in 2021, we had a giant number of serving 9,405 children. And we'll talk about what 3 programs added up to that big number, but we're really proud of that reach in 2021. Okay. So our first program, this is our year-long program. It's called our Life Essentials program. So Life Essentials Assistance serves one child at a time. And then we have a case manager quote about Life Essentials saying this reduces the neglect of children and stabilizes families in their home. And such a cutie. All right. So what types of assistance are included in Life Essentials? Well, this new clothing and shoes is far and away the most requested item. We believe that, especially in Jackson County, the Love Fund is the only agency where you can be provided new clothing. We have heard that as a result of the pandemic, some of the clothing pantries do not have as many resources as they once did. So that is why I think there's even an increased need in the clothing area, which is already definitely the highest item we fulfill. And I can talk about what that looks like a little later. We also do baby items. That's anything from, car seats, strollers. We have done baby gates, bottles, all of those kinds of things. If it's an expectant mother, we serve her only 1 month in advance of her due date. So just put that out there. We do twin beds and bedding. We do 15 twin beds a month in partnership with Furniture Mall of Kansas, who very generously provides the beds, and clients do need to go to Furniture Mall of Kansas in Olathe to pick up the beds. Extracurricular fees and gear. For example, we've purchased football cleats. I think we recently paid the registration and uniform fee for basketball for a child. It's kind of a wide range of things that can fall into that extracurricular category. Specialty camps. We just paid partial payment for cerebral palsy camp for a child that was referred. Hygiene items. We, prior to the pandemic, referred children to their school for giving the basics, and then only served hygiene items to non-school age children. We have found that some of the giving the basics programs have not ramped up as much. So we are still at this time able to refer for hygiene items. That would include things, toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, body wash. We get a lot of feminine hygiene products. So, because they're expensive. Counseling, we do counseling. Physical therapy, safety devices. We do a lot of what are called angel sense devices or GPS monitoring devices for children. And then the last one is technology and communication devices. I would caveat that by saying we do not do iPads. So it would need to be something other than an Apple iPad used for communication, but we can do other types of tablets as long as there is a medical need attached to those. Okay, everybody good? No questions?
I did have a question real quick. Where exactly did you say that people would need to go and pick up the beds?
The beds is in partnership with Furniture Mall of Kansas, which is in Olathe. I'm trying to think of what the crossroads are, not coming up with it, but yeah, Olathe.
Okay, and then for baby items, that's within 1 month of delivery.
1 month prior to delivery is when we'll serve. Now, I would recommend you apply prior to that. So what I do is you go ahead and apply, you put the mother's due date in the application because it will say, you know, unborn baby girl in your application, and then the due date. And then that way I can go ahead and process it. And then literally I set a calendar invite for myself 1 month in advance of due date to go ahead and order the items. But then that gives us a little bit of time to clarify exactly what items are needed so that when that 1 month comes, I can just go ahead and order it. Now, if mom delivers early, which has happened, you would just need to contact me and we can work through it.
And Lee Marie, there is a question in the chat about technology. Can we help with hotspots?
That's an interesting question. We have never had that question before, to be honest. Amanda, do you have any thoughts?
I think it's certainly something that we would explore. I know that the library, you know, started doing the rentals or checking out rental services of the hotspots. So a lot of what we try to do is just see if there are other resources already doing that. And if there are, that doesn't mean that we won't do it, you know, also, but we do try to explore what is currently out there. So I'll dig into just kind of seeing what resources there may be on that. And I think that's something that we would be happy to consider. Now it would need to specifically be supporting the child though. So now that virtual learning is, you know, I don't know how much of that is still occurring, but we would not be able to just provide a hotspot generally like for the household. But if we know that it's dedicated for the student to do their learning, do their classwork, I think that's something that we could certainly consider. And Lee Marie is actually the resident expert on these things. There's some more questions coming up. Lee Marie, do you want to respond to them now?
Sure. Janet Dover asked, can you give any more examples about safety devices? What we see most frequently are children who are eloping from the home, who need GPS monitoring devices. And then the Love Fund, if it's a new device, pays for the device and then 1 year of service. Once that 1 year is up, you would need to reapply if the family is unable to pay for continued service. Also falling in the safety category, we've done, I think I indicated to you, some baby gates, even some small things like keeping kiddos, you know, out of cabinets, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that answers your question. Okay, let's scroll up. Do you guys refer out to different resources that may have requested the supplies and then supply supply the things that are hard to find from other resources, like if they're requesting for diapers? Yes. So we do often, like Amanda kind of just referenced, cross-refer and try to, like I indicated with giving the basics. First of all, I ask people when they refer for hygiene, have they gone to the nurse at their school? Could they possibly get those items from them? Same thing for diapers. Have they already pursued Happy Bottoms? If yes, how many did they receive? Happy Bottoms, last I checked, now this could be old news, but they were only giving a certain number of diapers per month. And for some families, it was not meeting the need, in which case we would help fulfill that gap. The thing to keep in mind with the Love Fund is you can only refer a child once per year. And so it's not something where we would be fulfilling a monthly need for diapers. It's more that we are trying to meet that emergent need and fulfill that gap at the time. Okay, did I miss anybody? I don't think so. I think I got them all. Okay, I'm gonna close my chat, keep going. Okay. Oh. All right, so let's talk about that Life Essentials program. It opens in February. Every year, usually it's about the second week of February. This week, the application was released on February 9th. The deadline to turn in Life Essentials applications is October 14th. That's the 2022 deadline. The reason that this is a little bit early is when we get to the end of the year, first, we like to try to clear our waiting list. So if you applied in 2022, we would love to be able to serve you in 2022, and we need a little bit of extra time to get caught up on applications. And then also in December, we do not serve Life Essentials cases because we are focused on Sack It for Santa. So that is why that deadline is in October. So really keep that in mind. And I must encourage you, don't wait till the last day, because there were people who applied on the last day this year who did not get served till the following year. So definitely would be to your advantage to maybe think in your mind that the deadline is a little bit earlier than that, just to ensure that you would be served in 2022. Okay, and then this I mentioned, I just spoke to it. It is one application per family per year. So if a child were to apply for their GPS monitoring device at the end of February, they would not then later be able to be granted clothing in the same year. Now, if they got a GPS device in February of 2022, next year in February, they would be welcome to then apply for clothing or other needs. Okay. We have a new electronic application form, which I think is wonderful. It's working out great. We used to require the use of a old school fax, and then everyone had to get client signatures on forms, and now you can complete all of that electronically. I think in general, the response from case managers has been really positive. If you've used it and have any thoughts, we'd love to hear from you in the chat. Just let us know. And then you submit that via electronic fax, which is kind of like submitting an email. So I am going to show you how that works. If you have any questions ever, at the bottom is our general info email address, info@fox4lovefund.org. I am the primary person who checks it. I check it usually 4 days out of 5. I do not typically work Fridays, just to warn you, but that box is checked regularly by me or another staff member, and we do try to reply to you within 48 business hours. Okay, and I know this was one of the questions that was pre-submitted. Okay, what else do we do besides just our general life assistance, Life Essentials program? We have 2 other key programs. Some of you may be familiar. We do back to school supplies. That application is released in June. Each child will receive either I believe an elementary kit or a upper grades kit. And case managers, it is a different application than the Life Essentials program. It's much shorter. It just has child's first name, first initial, county, the school they attend. I believe it has their age, and that's it. So it's pretty easy. You can put numerous children on one application versus Life's Essentials, which is just one application per family. So back to school released in June. If you have not seen that back to school application by June 15th, and it's going to come to you in those case manager emails, you probably should email us at that info address. Just kind of check in, make sure you haven't missed it. For Sack It for Santa, that is our holiday gift program for teens. It is, we serve children 12 to 18 years. We have found that other agencies in the area often cap their age at 11 or 12. So we found that holiday gifts for the older kiddos was a gap, and they still, of course, love getting presents. So that application is also a separate application. It is released in October, usually mid-October, and it's usually due the first week in November. I liked to advertise that as much as possible because we often hear from people at the beginning of December indicating they would like to be on the Sack It for Santa list. At that time, you would be placed on a wait list and not guaranteed gifts. So I just really encourage everyone, start thinking about holidays as early as mid-October. So what's in the sacks? This year we moved to those reusable red sacks, which I think was really wonderful. We try to do a mix of essential items. So you're going to get a pair of socks, you're going to get a hat and gloves for winter warmth. We give a sweet snack, a salty snack, and then this year we added the fleece tie blanket. And then on top of all of those kind of essentially type items, we also do a fun gift, and there's 4 themes that what each child can choose from. We do sports, art, games, and spa and beauty. And so the gift is somewhat customized to what each teen would really like to receive. Okay, anybody have questions on back to school or Sack It for Santa? Okay, we include this slide because we would love to see our case managers get involved with us. It was really exciting this year. We had some case managers from different agencies come and volunteer to pack sacks for Sack It for Santa. And it was just fun to work with them in that capacity. So we wrote down, come and volunteer with us at, special events. Come pack sacks for Sack It for Santa, or come pack the hygiene kits. Ooh, I forgot there are also hygiene kits in Sack It for Santa bags. Sorry. Donate or at least share our information, and so that we can just kind of widen our reach to people who may be interested in supporting us with their time or financial gifts. And then we have 3 major events. We have a golf tournament in July, and It's in the Bags auction, primarily a women's event, which is usually in October or November. And then this year, we're very excited. We have our big family event. It's going to be the 5K. So that is going to be in September. We would love it if you would bring yourself and your family and come walk with us, or run if you're daring enough, not me. So that's kind of the ways that we would love to see you help as well. Okay. And then these are all of the ways you can find out more, get connected to us. We would love to have you follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We even have a YouTube channel that shows a lot of our videos. We are constantly sharing on our social media, look who we served this week, or, finding out more how to register for the 5K. I think that's going to be released tomorrow. So if you have children whose needs are granted, then you'll be able to likely see them on our social media. So that talks, we're going to dig into this a little bit more, but that is part of the reason that we do ask for pictures. They're not required, and we never ever use last names, of course, on social media. But it does help, I think, our supporters tie into our mission to see the adorable children that we serve. Okay, we're kind of to the questions section. Feel like I went super fast. So if you have questions, does anybody feel free to raise your hand or unmute or drop them in the chat.
Lee Marie, there is one question to start us off that Kelly sent a little while ago. For safety devices, what about alarms on doors when they open or cameras?
Yep. I mean, I don't know the cost of a camera per se, but I certainly think that is something that would be worth looking into. Can you give more details about counseling services? Sure. We never, I think that it's important for me to mention this. We do not ever reimburse the family. So we may only, in all cases, pay the provider directly. So in the case of counseling services, we would need an invoice directly from the provider showing what the balance is. And then that would need to be submitted with the application. I'm going to stop. Well, stop sharing my screen for now so that I can see you guys again. There we are. So you would need to, for counseling, you would need to submit an invoice directly from the provider. We would pay them. I think that one thing we might want to mention, just so we are being transparent with everyone, our staff can approve up to $500 in office. I'm not saying you're guaranteed it. I'm just saying that's kind of our maximum level of approval. Anything above 500 has to go before our board and will require some additional information and also agreement to a blog post, a letter from a medical professional. So I think that's helpful when you're submitting cases, particularly like counseling, to know that the maximum we can approve in office is 500. So kind of keep that in mind. Okay, let's see. Next, how do we access the application form? Well, I will be happy to email it to you, Lucas. So I have to receive an email from a professional work address in order to provide it to you. But it also, every time we send out a case manager corner email, and I will make sure you get added, Lucas, there is always a link to the application, and then you can download it and save it to your computer. Would gym memberships be included in extracurricular activities? We have done community center memberships such that children could take swim lessons there. The gym membership would probably have to be represented by a medical need in order for us to take a look at that. Annual limit. Okay, so the maximum per child, like if the case goes to the board, is $2,000. Very rarely does our board approach that. So I like to set that expectation. Once you go above 500, we have to go before the board, and they only meet every other month. And it is a lot more detailed process. And then the max that you could even request is 2,000, but very rarely do they grant that much. Okay. Let's see. I serve adults and children with developmental disabilities. I have adults on my caseload. Yeah. Can I apply for things for the children even though? Yep, absolutely you can. I know a lot of people, particularly at Swope Health Services, work in the adult program, but they apply for their clients' children, and that is fine. As long as you have verified the need, you may apply on their behalf. Okay. All right, while you guys are thinking of more questions, I'm going to go through the ones that were submitted when you registered for this. First one was, can you help youth that are living on their own with car repairs? Unfortunately, the answer to car repairs is no. We don't do anything related to automotive. Oftentimes we'll get requests for car modifications. We do not do that either. So nothing related to cars.
Except for driver's ed.
Oh, driver's ed. That is
But nothing to the physical car. But yes, we will help with driver's ed.
Driver's ed is an extracurricular, and we probably get a couple of those a year. Okay, actually, I think that's an education, I would say. All right. What is the Love Fund? How can the Love Fund help families? I think we kind of answered some of that. Okay, we got a question regarding home modifications. The Love Fund does not do home modifications. I'm guessing this may have something to do with a ramp. Perhaps we get a lot of requests for wheelchair ramps. We've gotten some requests for just general home repairs because the child has impacted the house in a negative way and they would like to get that fixed. I will go ahead and give you these names. I have spoken with Accessibility Medical. They do home modifications, in particular ramps and other things, but Accessibility Medical. And then also hopebuilders-kc.org also can be contacted to assist with home modifications. So sometimes if you don't know if something is covered, just go ahead and email us at that info address, and I would be happy to answer your questions so that you don't fill out the application form unnecessarily. Okay, we had a specific question regarding, can the Love Fund cover costs for Northland Therapeutic Writing Center? Yes, the answer is yes, because that is considered counseling and therapy. Again, the limit would be $500 for an in-office approval. So we would need an invoice from the writing center attached to your application that indicates the number of lessons and the cost, and then we pay them directly. Okay. This was good. This was, what is the usual turnaround time for families to receive what they need? Well, it depends a little bit on the time of year, to be honest with you. As we get closer to the end of the year and more applications are coming in as people see the deadline approaching, your wait time is going to get a little bit longer. I would just really encourage you to apply earlier in the year because, then that puts you toward the front of the line for things. But in general, we say about 6 to 8 weeks. And then I would add a few weeks to that as we get into October. But generally 6 to 8 weeks. So you apply, we review it. If it's clothing, you'll need to complete a wish list and then we'll have to get the clothing ordered. And then it gets picked up from our office. And all of that takes about 6 weeks. Okay, and then are there other programs that you run aside from Second for Santa? And we did talk about that. We talked about the back to school program where you can apply for school supplies. Okay, that's all I have on there.
One more. What about help with college applications and ACT tests?
The fees associated with those. I believe that would fall, like ACT registration fee would fall under education. And I've only seen that once. I think it was approved. So college applications, I'm assuming those are the fees associated with them. We would just probably need to, have an invoice and see exactly what the cost is. But again, that would fall within our education realm. So I would apply. Oh, Sonia, thank you. She's saying, I'd like to express gratitude on behalf of a family I work with. They received a crib, 2 beds, bedding for 3 kids from us. I just worked with Sonia recently. So thanks for saying that. I really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Looks like we have a little bit. I'm going to just let anybody else have questions for the, okay. I am going to go back to sharing my screen if I can figure out how to do this. Just a second. Can everybody see or no?
Not yet. And Kelly, while you're getting that up, Kelly's asked if the family needed a new refrigerator, what category would that fall under? And I'm thinking I don't think we would approve a refrigerator, unfortunately.
No, 'cause- yeah, not specifically for the child, and it needs to be for the child. Yeah. Okay, I'm hoping that I'm sharing now. Okay, so this is what our application looks like. It's popping up for you. A lot of this mission and requirements we have just talked about. I would like to show you that there is a link to the FAQs on our website. There might be something we didn't cover today that would be included out there. Children 0 to 18 years only, 37 County Fox 4 viewing area. Talks about the $500, request over 500 are reviewed bi-monthly, and they will require additional documentation and be taken to the board. I really do encourage you, this front page is really more for your use and reference. And I would encourage you to use it, particularly this checklist. It just makes it so that I can process your application more quickly if I don't have to follow up with you. If I have a direct phone number for you and can reach you right away, it's incredibly helpful. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's anything on here we didn't talk about. Okay. The last page of this is the publicity and photo release. That is not required, but if it is signed by the client, signed electronically, then that means that they have approved it. Okay. Okay, again, we talked a little bit about photos. If they sign the photo release, we really greatly appreciate photos of the children. It just really helps us to share our mission. Okay, for camp and education medical requests, we must have a vendor invoice. So for people that were asking questions about therapeutic horseback riding or counseling, those are all things that are going to require an invoice so that we can pay that provider directly. For beds request, the family is responsible for picking up and transporting the beds. For car seats, we need the child's height and weight. Okay, and then we give you 30 days to reply to communications from us, or we immediately withdraw and close the case. Okay, and this shows you how to submit it. So I'm just going to come back to that. Okay, so I'll just show you how you can fill it out. You should be able to just type into the fields here. So I'm just going to refer, Leah Jones, and then her age, she's 10. Date of birth, I don't want to have to do the hard math, so there we're going to skip it, but I'd like you to fill that out. Gender, so she's a female, she's African American. Oops. And you can see at the top here, we put examples of race: African American, Asian, Caucasian, non-Hispanic, Hispanic, multiracial, or other. If you can fall within those, that would be much appreciated. And then, does she have developmental delays, yes or no? Okay. So we have spots and for the things that they are requesting under each child, because just because, let's say Leah needs a bed and bedding, oops, you can check multiple here. Maybe it's her brother. Let's just call him Eric. Eric Jones, he's let's say 8. He needs some clothing. I really can't spell American. There we go. He does not have developmental delays, but he will need some clothing. He already has a bed and bedding. So the reason that we made this more specific, the old application did not specify for each child what they needed. And so this is just really helpful to us. I've had a question in terms of if you have more than 4 children, which definitely occurs, just go ahead and submit one full application with all 4 on it, and then another one that only has this section filled out. Okay, and you can actually attach both to your fax. I can show you. Okay, so let's go down here. I'm actually going to mark that he needs some baby items. There we go. And that has that star there telling you to please specify what he needs. So we're going to make Eric younger. How about? Okay. So Eric now needs a car seat, and I need to put what his weight is. So weight, 40 pounds, I don't know. And height. Okay. Let's just say, what? How tall would they be? 24, 20, something like this? 24 inches. Okay, so that helps us to understand what type of car seat would accommodate his needs. Okay, that's where you would put that. Okay. For this section, camp education and medical indicate the child's medical diagnosis and any funding sources that were also reached out to. So if you applied to insurance and it was declined, this is where you would indicate that. If you applied for a waiver of some type or even another agency, then this is where that would be indicated. Okay, I feel like I'm going fast. Let me know if you have questions. Okay, background. Why is this an emergent need? Why are no other agencies or resources able to fulfill the need? And then what is the impact? And so you can type in here and it will create a whole paragraph as you type. Okay, this is your family information. We like to know now, when I skip this question, which everyone kind of, oops, no, it's down here. Okay, have the children previously received funds from the Love Fund? If you check no, that's fine. If you check yes, we will make sure that they did not receive something already in this calendar year. Okay, and then this is just showing who they live with. As far as income, we do ask for monthly income. However, the Love Fund does not have income requirements or limits. That is why we are the organization that fulfills the unmet needs, because we understand that there are a lot of agencies that do have income guidelines. So though we ask for it, it doesn't have an impact on the application. I think most of this is pretty standard. Okay, this is the question that everyone seems to miss. If your children receive an award from the Love Fund, will they be able to be part of our presentation to show donors the items and give the opportunity to meet the children? We really appreciate you filling this out, because what this helps us to do is identify children and families who sometimes we have a love-a-thon where we need families to be able to go on the news and talk about what they received. Oftentimes we have events like our 5K or our golf or It's in the Bag, where we need families to come and tell their stories. So it's very helpful if you can tell us if this particular family would be willing to come to an event and share their story. Okay, and just all of these fields do need to be completed. Sometimes I get an application where I just have a name of a guardian. No, I'm going to need all of the additional information. Address, zip, particularly county we need. Okay, and then this referring professional information, that's you, the case manager who is completing it. We no longer require a supervisor signature. You may just check that my immediate supervisor is aware and has approved this request. And then you get to type in their name. Okay, and that serves as Amanda's approval, and then her email and her phone number. And the reason that we ask for your supervisor's name is we've had cases where by the time we get to a case, that case manager who originally referred has left the agency. And so we need someone to be able to go to before we close the case and say, hey, do these children still need the items that they were originally referred for, even though the case manager has left? Okay. Okay, here's your client consent and release. This is where you would fill in the client's name, so the guardian's name. This page is required, their initials, and then it's going to have their electronic signature and your applying professional electronic signature and the date. Okay, the last page is that publicity and photo release. This is not required to apply. If you do fill it out, we would greatly appreciate, the submission of photos with the items received. Okay. So that is the application. Any questions on the application before I go through submission? Okay. It looks long, but I think it doesn't take as long as it looks to, I hope, especially now that we don't require you to meet in person with your client to obtain their signature. Okay, so now I filled it out. You would save it to your computer. And so, I would save it with, maybe the agency name, Center for Human Services, and then maybe my name, Sue on, and the date. However you save them on your computer, that way you have an electronic copy that you can refer back to on the crazy odd chance we didn't get it or something. You have a copy on your computer. Okay, then you could open it back up and click on this electronic fax link. We cannot accept applications via email. So we now have this really, really slick and nice electronic fax. So I click on it, or you could type it in as well. Okay, and it takes you to this home screen that says emergency assistance requests. Click the button below to complete the fax cover sheet. Attach your application and supporting documents, then press send. Okay, so I'm going to send a free fax. Click the button. It's for me. And I would probably put my agency. We're going to pretend I work for Center for Human Services. And then I'm going to say application for emergent assistance. Okay. And then what we want to do is scroll down just a little bit before you hit send, because all you've got so far is a cover page, and this is telling you how many pages you have in your fax. Scroll down just a little bit, and you can either drop your attachment or just add a document like you would an attachment to an email. For me, I saved, let's just see, I'll just attach a blank one. Okay, so you should now be able to see what you've attached. Okay, so there's my application. Oh, wait, I had a medical request. So I also need to attach let's see, I'm just going to give you guys an example. But you would also need to attach your invoice. Okay, if you had a medical or education request. So you can add multiple attachments. Okay. Then when everything is in that you want, yes, 8 pages, that sounds right, including my cover sheet. That is what you then push send. Okay. You should get, okay, send out. And it's asking me, do I really want to send? Yes, I do. Some people see this secure fax and think they need to click it. No, you don't need to do secure fax, just simply push continue. The reason that we use fax is because it has much higher encryption than just sending an email, so the data is protected. Okay, so continue, sending my fax. You should get an email confirmation. I think it's email. And if not, we email you within 3 business days of receipt of the application to let you know that we've got it. So this is what it looks like for me when they come in. Okay, I think we have some questions. No, okay. I know some people are having to leave. Okay, any questions on submitting application? Nope. Okay. Any other general questions that we didn't get to? No. Okay. Okay. I was going to, if we don't have any others, I was going to do clothing wish list, which I'm not sure how many people we have interested, but let me know.
Yeah, we have a new question coming in. You see that?
Yes, I see it now. Assuming I'm not on vacation, Kelly, you should receive it within 2 or 3 days, letting you know that we've gotten it. If you don't, definitely email us at the info email address.
I think Tina has her hand raised for a question.
Okay, great.
Yes, I think I hit the wrong button. I was clapping, but I do have a question.
Nice.
Am I clapping?
Of your 3 programs, the assistance request, back to school, and Sack It for Santa, is it just you can make 1 request per child per program per year?
No, Life Essentials is one per year, but they can also participate in all 3 if they need to.
Okay.
That's why it's a different application that they're considered separate programs. And that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. But yes, someone could receive all 3. Definitely happens. Anything
And
else?
a note on the school supply drive, just as an FYI, for those of you who are serving kiddos in the Kansas City Public School District, they are our primary partner for the school supply drive. So we give them upwards of 6,000 to 7,000 supply kits that they distribute to families as part of their Summer Fest event, where they do other resources for the families. So we ask that when we release the application to all of our youth advocates, our case managers, just have some consideration of kiddos that are not in the Kansas City Public School District that really may have a gap in receiving that support. That doesn't mean you can't apply for the kids in the Kansas City Public School District, but just know that a lot of those kids are probably going to receive those items through their actual school and through the Summer Fest event.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions that we didn't get to?
So I think at this time, Lee Marie, I think it would be great for you to show the clothing process. And so we welcome everyone to stay on if you do want to see that process. But if you do need to go, please don't hesitate. We're so glad that you shared some of your day with us. Obviously, Lee Marie is always available. Well, by email, send us an email if you have questions. But we're just really honored to be able to do this work in partnership with you all. So thank you so much. And if you're staying on, then Lee Marie will give you the deets on our clothing process.
Okay, this is kind of getting into nitty gritty, but I do think that anyone who is interested, it might make it a little bit easier for you. When you apply for clothing, it'll probably take us a week or 2 to review your application. And then if you are approved, oh, I need to share my screen so that you can see. Hold on one second. Where have my little controllers gone? There we go. Okay. Okay, can everybody see my email? Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so I've made kind of a little mock-up here. So you're going to, once approved, receive an email. It's just going to say love fun clothing wish list. This number here is your case number. That's how we're identifying you. And then it usually is going to have, even in the subject line, when it's due. So I pretended to be the case manager, Susan, who had applied for 2 children. Okay, so this is the email that says, hey, congratulations, you're approved. Here's your case number. This is the guardian's name. So the parent usually name, grandparent. This is the amount allotted per child. So in this case, there's 2 children. Why is Jamar getting more than Ariel? Well, we have kind of a detailed I don't know if we want to call it a formula that indicates based on the number of children in the household and their ages, how much they receive. So usually, so Jamar must be 10 and up, and Ariel must be 0 to 9. So we find that the older the children, the bigger they are, the more the clothing costs. And so we do take that into account and give children 10 and up more than younger children. Then you would have 2 weeks to turn the list around. So we gave you the due date. And then there is a password for the wish list. Honestly, you shouldn't have to use that. These are some really detailed instructions, but since I'm going to walk you through it, I think that we'll just skip reading those, if you will. So I had an example. This is what your wish list looks like. Okay, this blue part up here, you're not going to be able to edit. That's intentional, but it does have your case number, the case manager's name. It shows you again how much each child has received. And then your total should auto calculate. So I'm just gonna go through the example of Jamar with you, okay? So Jamar is the first child that I'm going to be working on. And let's just say, and all of this is on Walmart.com. That's the only, at this time, online vendor that we are working with. So then you would open up your browser, go to Walmart.com. Okay, and let's just say Jamar needs boys' undershirts. Okay. There we go. And you probably want to do a little bit of, comparing prices just to, make sure you're getting the best value. Okay, here's kind of the tricky part. We need you to guarantee that there is no shipping charge and that it can be shipped. So we don't want things that are pickup only, and we don't want things that have a shipping charge. So this one works because I can ship and get it by April 14th. And it does not have any additional shipping charges associated with it. That's going to be like their marketplace vendors that are non-Walmart vendors that often have a charge associated. Okay, so it's 5 white t-shirts for $9.48. So I'm going to jump back over here and I'm going to say white undershirts. Okay, and I need 1 thigh pack. And they're white. And then I need to say the size. We'll say small. I can't remember how much they were, $9.54. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to go back over to Walmart. And I need you to, you can't see, but I'm going to click up here, highlight the URL. Okay, copy it. You can right click for copy, or you can do Control-C. And then I'm going to come back over here, right click to paste. Okay. So you would do that for each item until the total for the child was less than or equal to the allotted amount. So I'll show you kind of an example one. This shows you that they added up all of the items. And then, the child one was Courtney, her allotted amount was 90, and it auto-calculated 88.76. If you go over, then it forces me to have to select which item to eliminate. So you want to stay as close to the allotted amount or, and stay under. Okay. So that's what the clothing wish list looks like. And then you have a case number associated with that. So you would save it. And it's really helpful if you save it with the case number in the name of the file. So in this case, I named it 22150 mock clothing wish list. Some people put the name of the client in their file. Okay, so I'm gonna save it. And then this actually is submitted via email. So you would go to your email and compose an email to info@. And all of these instructions are in that approval email that you receive. So info@Fox4Love Fund, and then just like you normally would, attach your wish list to the email. Okay. Here she is, my mock clothing wish list. And then it's helpful again if you put that case number in the subject line. And you can also just reply to the original email if that's easier. Okay, and then that would be sent. And then we try to order those, within 3 to 5 days of receiving it. Okay.
And yeah, we understand, $90 and $115 is not a lot for clothes, right? But the key things are, one, these are all brand new items, and it's a great way to get some of those essentials for the kid. So we wish we could do more, but in our effort to serve as many kids as possible, this is our current guideline and restriction, specifically around clothing. So yeah, we anything else kind of on that note?
I was just going to say, use it to kind of think of the things that would be, you maybe would prefer not to get from a clothing pantry or can't get. So, underwear, socks, maybe undershirts, some of those real necessities that you maybe would not prefer to not get hand-me-down. That's what I'm trying to say. That's kind of what we're focusing on using this for. Not maybe a full wardrobe, but enough to teach you through the necessities. And I do think that we get a lot of requests for winter coats. And so that would require a clothing wish list as well for winter warmth gear. And I just would encourage you to apply by October 1st, just because we do get a lot of requests for winter warmth. Okay. I think that's really all we had, unless anybody has any questions. Thank you, fearless few here who stayed on and went past our timeline for this clothing demonstration. Anybody have anything? Okay. Awesome. Well, I really
appreciate you.
Bye, Kelly. I think that's a wave.
Yep. Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was fun to see everybody. And don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Have a good rest of your day.